Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash. This is Ash Quest, and I'm going to be completely straight with you right now. I've got a bunch of stuff to show you, but none of it is really strong enough to stand on its own in a video. And it's starting to pile up around here, so I'm just going to do a mixed bag, a grab bag of all of these things together that I've got from mainly Goodwill, a couple of other thrift stores in the area. So let's begin. Let's get this out of the way with some Dominion base cards, $4.74 at my local Goodwill. I didn't know what these were. I had just like the box to go on, but it looks like it's just a bunch of cards for use with Dominion. I don't really know what Dominion is. It's a game, I gather, from Rio Grande Games. And of course, being an expansion, these are just base cards. They're not playable by itself. It's not something that's intended to be enjoyed. Okay, stop having fun. But here are the card backs, and the fronts of the cards, and the reason I got these are like this. They're just supplies. Supplies. Without any context, I don't know how these are used, but I don't need the context to know that I could use these for Hero Quest in some way. You could draw from this treasure deck, if you will, and it's quite an expansive treasure deck. This is a very heavy box full of cards, and you could really, whenever the hero draws a treasure card, you could just have them exchange it for one of these. And then the value of the card, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, all of this could really be roll 5 movement dice, and that's how much gold you get times 10. At least that's maybe how I would do it. Your mileage may vary. Now, on top of gold, there are also other cards like Curse, -1 defense. That's actually the entirety of the stack of the cards that I just picked up. But also, Potion. Yes, we have Potion cards. But base cards. Play the official version of Dominion online. That's cool. Okay, playdominion.com/base. Hold here, put card flat on display, and move slowly. I have no idea what Dominion is. Has anybody out there played it? Is it fun? All right, I know there's more than just gold pieces and curses and potions. Yeah, okay, here they are. Province, 6 shield. Duchy, 3 shield. More potions. Estate, 1 shield. Colony, 10 shield. I would say these are interesting cards to use perhaps in between quests, these cards here, or perhaps these could be used as reputation gain. You separate these cards from the treasure cards. I guess I'd call these victory cards. Yeah, and deal them out to the players when they finish a quest, or perhaps 1 for every monster they kill. And they can exchange 100 or 50 or whatever total points. So we have victory points here at the bottom, 8 for the province, even though it says 6. You'll have to decide what that means for yourself, since we're playing in a non-Dominion context with these. Now that's just how we could possibly use them with Hero Quest. There's literally hundreds of ways. But those are the Dominion base cards that I found at Goodwill. Really kind of makes me want to check out the game. Has anybody played Dominion? What's it like? Let's move on to the next item. Stefan Feld's La Isla by Ravensburger. Explore the land of mystery. I got this. I unboxed it. I'm not totally sure if this is up my alley. But then again, I said that about Ticket to Ride, and that was a surprisingly fun game. We've got a player track along with 5 different animals that are extinct that you can encounter in this island of mystery. We have a bunch of wooden cubes. Now that's actually kind of cool. We've got a bunch of tokens representing also these animals, as well as larger tokens representing multiples of the animal. We have our player pieces. No, they will not Hero Quest unless you want to introduce pygmies into your game. These are very small explorer icons, and it seems you can form a team of explorers and send them out. So whatever your color is. There are these player boards. Yes. Yes. Okay. You put your cards in between A, B, and D. There's 4 of them, 1 for each color of player, 1 for each color of player character. And then one of the more interesting boards I've seen, this one comes in a variety of strangely shaped pieces. They are very similar in nature. They all have a triad of 3s here in the upper pentagon shape, but then the rest of them have different resources depicted on them and a center tile. And you are intended to build this by doing, how do we do this? How is this game played? Like this. And then we can just build it. Doesn't have to be, I don't think, any specific configuration. I think you just put it together. No 2 games need be the same. This actually feels really cool to build the board like this. Only problem I'm going to have is the pieces are going to shift while we're playing, and that's going to annoy me. There's going to be constant people coming in and poking the pieces back together. And they will come apart. It's not like they really hold themselves together, you know? But that's the board. La Isla. We've also got cards, and the cards represent basically the mechanics of gameplay, what you're going to trade to get what resources. If you place an explorer on a space showing the corresponding symbols, you can plus any one resource, plus 3 victory points, move any one marker up to one space, and eventually get victory points. It's a whole thing, but the rules seem very simple. Here is the actual rule book. Use your explorers to find as many animals as possible. The cards have 3 different functions to help in your quest. The player with the most victory points is the winner. Not an overly complex game, but something that I think is probably not my cup of tea. As such, I apologize for the lack of justice that I am doing this game with this unboxing and presentation. It's not really meant to serve as an authoritative review, but rather just an awareness flag. This is your call to action to go seek out another channel that will be able to explain this particular game in greater detail if you are interested in playing it. Doubtless, the question will arise, will it hero quest? Nah, not this one. We can force anything at all in life and in existence in the universe that we have to hero quest in some way or another. We can make NASA hero quest. We can make quantum physics hero quest. We can make the Constitution of the United States. We can make that hero quest. But like, do we? Should we? No. Not every time. This is getting boxed and it will go. This was about, I think, this was $3 at my local thrift store. And now it's going to get gifted back to that thrift store. Oh no. Zombies from Archie McPhee. Archie McPhee. This was also $3 at my local thrift store. As you can see, this game is intended for 1 human player and 3 zombie players. While he's just like, I guess I'll get zombie. It's come to this. You're trapped in the middle of nowhere inside a rundown shack surrounded by zombies. Your cell phone doesn't get reception. Yeah. And the landlines just emit a constant busy signal. Yup. Your only hope for survival is to get to one of the abandoned stores so you can get a battery for the CB radio in the shack and a shotgun to help you survive the trip back. Good luck with that. I love that. This came out in 2009. I had no idea Archie McPhee was still a thing. Ash here with a word from this video sponsor. You're the sponsor. There's new benefits on the Patreon, and if you join the Mighty Hero tier now, you will gain access to a monthly quest designed by me, exclusive to members of this tier and above. You'll have access to polls to be able to vote on upcoming content, and have a special role for the Amalgam Archive Discord server. You'll be credited as a supporter at the end of every YouTube video I make, and finally, gain access to heroic quests. That's a video game. All right, back to the video. So before I unbox this, I'm going to tell you a really quick, boring story about myself. When I was a kid, we got a catalog in the mail from Archie McPhee, and I was enamored with the kind of stuff that it showed because it was nonstop, just goofball anime action figures and different pieces of memorabilia, a Frieza alarm clock, a Goku gumball machine. I mean, it had all kinds of junk in it. And I actually, using this catalog, taught myself to read kana, the katakana syllabary of Japanese, because I could see after a while that the really simple symbols next to certain English words like Ultraman were repeating themselves in other words that had similar syllables. So I was able to piece together what they meant. And this was really kind of before I had the internet to do so. So yeah, in a way, Archie McPhee facilitated my being able to learn kana and enhanced my understanding of what little Japanese I know. Please open box, please. What are you doing? Okay. And yes, underside of the box lid has no instructions. We have instructions right here, though, and we have barely any components. It is a very simple game. Is it a fun game? That, my friends, depends on your behavior. I will say there are 3 different colors of zombie, and they're all green, and green. There's like a shade of difference between some of those, but everybody controls themselves, and then they control the zombies when they're ready to move the zombies. And we have some really fun miniatures here. They're pretty big. They're not going to hero quest, but you've got your zombies. These are the zombies, 2 of each of the 3 colors, so 6 zombies in total. But then you've got 4 additional zombies and 4 additional player miniatures. And the reason that you have these is because this is your player once he has been zombified. That's right. If you're playing with up to 4 players, you can get turned, and now you are a zombie and you are trying to go zombify the other players. So that's a really fun detail to have in the game, to be able to swap out your mini for one that is already a zombie. And even though they don't look anything alike, this doesn't look like a zombified version of this at all, but they're the same color. It's still a fun concept. And then you go around the board, which I should show you the board. I should show you this board. This is it. It's a very simple board, right? We've got abandoned stores. We've got the center shack. We've got spaces. Some of the spaces have pictures on them, like the boat oar, the shovel. I think that's a torch. And then we've got lots of graves. It's really spooky. But my favorite thing of all about this game are the cards. And we've got some really cool chits that we can place on the board, like the AA batteries, which allows you to take back to the shack to win. The torch, which allows you to move 2 spaces, which is really important because that might be what you need to get away from a zombie before it can get you. And then like the shotgun, which allows you to kills a zombie, 1 use only. But the cards, okay? I showed these off in my Discord. Oh No Zombies has a little deck of cards, and they're pretty much RNG, whether or not a particular zombie gets you and turns you into a zombie or not. But the flavor text they put on these are completely unhinged. The zombie reaches for you, but you duck beneath its arms and crawl between its legs, move 2 spaces. Woo, that was close. Okay, zombie gets you again. Got to draw a card. You fall to the ground and curl into the fetal position. The zombie crouches down and feeds on your flesh until you suddenly stand up, renewed, refreshed, and undead. What is this? This is hilarious. I love these. As the zombie approaches, you laugh and figure you'll wake up from this nightmare anytime now. Oops, the zombie bites your face and you become a zombie yourself. So it's just the most fun way possible of determining if you are or are not a zombie once they catch you. As you feel the cold hands of the zombie grasp your arm, you get a sudden jolt of adrenaline. Not this time, zombie scum. Move 6 spaces. I can't stop. I'm addicted. As the zombie reaches for your neck, you rabbit kick him to the spleen. As he writhes in pain, you hightail it out of there. Move 4 spaces. What are you talking? The zombie feels pain? You slap the zombie square in the face and tell it to go back to the grave. For a moment, it's stunned, but then it recovers and bites you repeatedly until you become a zombie yourself. As the zombie closes in, you fall to your knees and beg for mercy. The zombie stops, tilts its head, and moans. Then it eats part of your scalp, turning you into a zombie. Love this one. You lunge at the zombie and tumble to the ground, fighting for your life. As you roll and wrestle with the monster, it suddenly stops moving. Somewhere in the scuffle, its head fell off. You killed it! You dive into an open grave, and when the zombie peers in, you pretend to be a zombie. The zombie isn't fooled. It jumps into the grave and gnaws on you until you become a zombie for real. I can't. Like, one more, I promise. You decide it's time to take care of this business slow-mo kung fu style. First, you leg sweep the zombie. Then you hit him with a palm thrust to the sternum. Move 6 spaces. God, they're so amazing. They are wonderful, wonderful cards. That's how you do flavor text, my friends. You don't just flip a coin, it's yes or no. You don't just roll a die, and if it's 1 to 3, yes, 4 to 6, no. You give it flavor. You give it game feel. And that's Oh No Zombies. It's time to move on to the next game. Before anybody asks, I'm probably going to donate this one right back to the local store as well. Next up on the agenda is Pocket Battles, Fantasy number 1, Orcs vs. Elves. I could not believe that I saw this at Goodwill from Z-Man Games for $2.99 USD. It's a war game with tiny cards. Yeah, a literal war game. So we're going to take out the 6d6 blue dice, which are like 12, I think, in size. They're slightly smaller than the classic Hero Quest combat dice in general. And then we've got 2 decks of cards that are really small, nice, thick cardstock, and they detail what kind of unit you have. So 2 players will select their armies, and there are other armies in this game series, so you can have these different armies face one another. This is like Dollar Tree Warhammer. You agree on your army size and you get started. You've got a general layout and setup that you do according to the rules, and there are different kinds of actions you can take on your turn. Shooting at charging units, charging at a unit in an adjacent sector, charging at a unit in the rear, wounds and casualties, carrying on an engagement, leaving an engagement, shooting on an engagement, shooting at enemy units at the rear of a sector, using a special trait. It's surprisingly complex, and this is something that I'm actually going to hang on to for a while and see if I can grasp how to play it. I may even actually enjoy gathering up the other armies. This should take about 13 13, 30 minutes to play, and it's a 2-player game. You've also got wound and order tokens. And for some reason, the order token is on the opposite side of the wound token. They share the same token, so it seems like a one or the other type of deal. Players also get these lovely little references. There's 2 of them that come with the game, so each one can use their reference chart to look up terms really quick. Love that. Let's take a look at the cards themselves. So they are very informative. They're really easy to read. The UI is spot on. The art's nothing to write home about, but I mean, it gets the message across. It's fine. This is Orc 19, Orcs. And man, the Orc deck has all kinds of awesome stuff. There's half Orcs. Meanwhile, the Elves have Champion Elves. Look at that. The Orcs have got a Shaman and Bugbears. The Elves have Hero Elf and Magus Elf. Actually, she's kind of cool. The Orc army has Hobgoblins, Trolls. The Elf army has Mounted Elf Archers and Elf Spearmen. I assume they're elves. Their ears are covered. The Orc army has Gnolls, a Catapult, Kobolds. The Elf army has Elves. And for some reason, a Great Eagle. Just one. The Elves have in their possession a Great Eagle. Will you submit, Orc army? I knew you'd be shaking in fear at the size of our elf regiment. Why are you hacking our limbs piece to piece? And so, that's it. What do you want to do now? Yes, I think that is all for now. Thank you very much for joining me on this wild, chaotic trip down board game lane, board and card game lane. Join us next time when I talk about Warhammer Dragons. Maybe not next time. In the future. I'm doing a video about the Warhammer Dragons. Just a couple of them. We'll get there. We'll get to that. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing. I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.